Let me tell you about the night everything changed, not just for me, but for a lot of people who think power is just about money, contracts, and fancy job titles. You ever walk into a place so polished and pristine that you can almost smell the tension, like everyone's waiting for someone to slip up? That's exactly what it felt like the evening I stepped in a Lucille Bleu, one of those high-end French restaurants in Manhattan where the plates are more porcelain than food and every glass sparkles under the chandeliers. I was there for big business, a $1.8 billion merger that could reshape the logistics industry overnight. Now, let me back up a sec. My name's Aisha Marshall. I'm a CEO of Novatech Industries, a tech logistics company out of Atlanta. I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, the daughter of a postal worker and a mechanic. And if there's one thing I learned from them, it's this: never let anybody else decide your worth. That's a lesson I've carried from the days I got turned down by a might not, because I wasn't smart enough, but because some people just can't see past where you're from or what you look like. So when I built Novatech from scratch, every setback, every sideways glance, every time someone questioned if a black woman could lead a billion-dollar company that became fuel, you know what I mean? But that night, it wasn't about my past. It was about a future that was supposed to be signed, sealed, and delivered over duck confit and expensive wine. My partners at Parkman Enterprises, Oliver, Matt Line, Thomas, they were in Chicago, ready to pop the champagne the second my name hit that contract. What none of us expected was that the real negotiation would happen before I even sat down to eat. You see, when I walked up to that hostess stand, the restaurant was already buzzing. People in business suits, some couples having date night, a woman at the bar pretending not to stare but totally invested in whatever drama was about to unfold. I was wearing my best charcoal suit, feeling every inch the boss I'd worked so hard to become. Reservation under Aisha Marshall. I told the hostess her name was Miss Frances Young, probably new to the city, hiding nerves behind that emerald green dress. She glanced at my lapel pin, the little Novatech logo, then looked me up and down like she was still figuring out if I belonged there. Maybe it was the weight of all those eyes, or maybe it was just one of those nights when you can sense trouble before it's official. I handed her my American Express Centurion Me Black card, heavy as a stone, the kind of card most people only read about in magazines. For me, it was a tool. For her, it must have looked like a magic trick she didn't know how to believe. She paused, lips twitching just a second too long. Then, as she ran my card, I caught it, a snicker from a man at the entrance, whispering to his friend, like the punchline was walking around in a pair of Louboutins. "Is there an issue?" I asked, voice low but steady. The hostess stammered something about not seeing many Centurion cards. Usually, they belonged to older executives who booked months in advance. She was flustered, cheeks going pink, but the damage was done. The room was silent, everyone waiting to see if I'd play along or make a scene. In that moment, all the old lessons kicked in. My mother's voice in my head. When they question your place, you move forward with grace. Not anger. Not tonight. I pulled out my phone, called my assistant Everett, and told him to cancel everything. Let Parkman know it's off. I can't proceed. You could have heard a pin drop. The hostess just stared, realizing too late that respect isn't something you check at the door. I looked her in the eye, thanked her for her time, and left. No raised voice, no dramatic exit, just me walking out the same way. I came in head high, heart pounding. Outside, the city felt different. The lights of Lucille Bleu faded behind me as I got into a taxi, headed for the Willow Inn in Brooklyn, a place without marble floors or velvet ropes, but where the only thing anyone questioned was whether you wanted red or white wine. You might think that's where the story ends, but it was only getting started. While I rode across the bridge, the folks at Parkman Enterprises were losing their minds. Their boardroom went from "let's celebrate" to "what the hell happened" in under 10 minutes. My assistant gave them the news. The deal was off because of disrespect at the restaurant. Parkman's CFO nearly dropped her phone. The COO paced the room, and their legal guy, Thomas, started pulling up emails and prepping for whatever fallout was coming next. By the time I checked in my hotel, my phone was buzzing with texts from lawyers, PR reps, even journalists sniffing around for a story. Everett handed me a folder every video clip, witness statement, timestamp surveillance footage, because if there's one thing my team does, it's cover every angle. I reviewed everything, every awkward look, every "is that really her?" from the patrons. The chef in the kitchen even paused plating dinner to gossip about what he'd just seen. The entire night, caught on camera, waiting to go viral. Let's talk about the twist. While I was collecting myself at the Willow Inn, Everett connected me with our civil rights attorney. By morning, we'd filed a Title VII suit racial and gender discrimination in a public accommodation. I wasn't just walking away from a deal. I was drawing a line in the sand for everyone who'd ever been told they didn't belong. And as the sun came up over New York, the news exploded. Black CEO cancels billion-dollar deal after racial snub. Twitter, LinkedIn, the morning news, you name it. Suddenly, I wasn't just Aisha Marshall, businesswoman. I was the story, and the narrative was mine to shape. That day, I stood in front of the Harlem Community Center, place I'd supported for years, facing a crowd of students, activists, and everyday folks who understood, maybe better than anyone, what it meant to be dismissed before you even got started. I told them, if someone can't respect you at the table, don't beg for a seat. Build your own. There were cheers, a few tears, a teacher leading a standing ovation, and young people filming every word for Facebook and Instagram. Meanwhile, Parkman's PR team scrambled to save face, Lucille Blue's management tried damage control, and my lawyers got busy. The restaurant's general manager panicked. Their social media filled up with promises of new training, but nobody was buying it. The point had been made, and no apology could unring that bell. The legal fight went quicker than most expected. We had the video, the witnesses, even emails from the restaurant's management. In court, the defense tried to claim it was just a misunderstanding, but when the server described Miss Francis openly laughing at my card, you could feel the shift in the room. Judge Simmons, known for not mincing words, ruled that the restaurant had violated civil rights statutes, ordered $15 million in damages, mandated annual anti-bias training, and banned the hostess and manager from working in hospitality for 3 years. The headlines blared. Black CEO wins landmark case, dignity over dollars. Back at Novatech, my team celebrated not because of the money, but because we'd set a new standard. Parkman stock slipped, ours rose. The business world noticed. I started getting invitations to speak at conferences, universities, places that once turned me down now wanting to hear how I'd pulled off the impossible. And yet, as I sat in my Brooklyn apartment that night, city lights flickering against the window, there was no sense of triumph, just the steady, quiet satisfaction that comes from standing your ground. I thought about my parents, the sacrifices they made, and how far I'd come. The Centurion card, sitting on the counter, was just a card, a symbol, but not the source of my worth. So let me ask you, since you're still here, what would you have done in my place? Is there ever a price worth paying for dignity? Or should we always walk away, even when the world tells us to sit back down? Share your thoughts, because this isn't just my story anymore, it's ours. And maybe, just maybe, that's how real change begins.